Federal government blocks accounts of alleged protest sponsors, puts them on watch list. Kano government eases curfew as Plateau government convenes emergency meeting over violations. ECOWAS urges protesters to heed President Tinubu's call for dialogue. Away from Nigeria, Tropical Storm Debbie claims at least 5 lives in Florida and Georgia, continues to batter southeast. Good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. Thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. Authorities of the Nigerian Immigration Services have placed sponsors of nationwide End Bad Governance protest on its watch list. Comptroller General of NIS, Kemi Nandap, who disclosed this at the Defense Headquarters Abuja on Tuesday, said the sponsors who are in the diaspora would be arrested immediately they step their feet on Nigerian soil. She spoke shortly after a strategic meeting convened by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. The immigration boss said the service has, in response to the protest, deployed more officers to land borders and airports to ensure effective manning of those entry and exit points. According to her, the service has also stepped up surveillance to prevent foreign intervention in the country. On his part, the Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Bichi, said the agency had uncovered some sponsors but declined giving further information. The secret police boss, who was represented at the meeting by the DSS spokesman, Peter Afunanya, said some bank accounts had already been blocked. Kano state government has further relaxed the curfew imposed on the state. The state had imposed a 24-hour curfew following the degeneration of the peaceful nationwide protest into violence. The Commissioner of Police, Salman Dogo Garba, made the announcement shortly after a Security Council meeting held at the Government House on Tuesday. He said the development is to further enable residents go about their normal routine activities while the security situation is being reviewed and observed. Dogo urged the residents in the state to return to their various homes by 6 p.m., assuring them that the curfew would be reviewed as the security situation improves. He said that the governor also appealed to the residents in the state to continue to pray for peace, progress, and political stability in the state. He called on residents to cooperate with security personnel deployed in and outside the metropolis as peace gradually restores in the state. The government had relaxed the curfew from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. from Sunday. Earlier, we spoke to Trust TV's Idris Jibrin, and he gives us an update.
Exactly. Earlier, I told you that Singa market has been, and many other markets have been reopening,
Yes.
have been reopened.
Yes.
And then we now heard that the governor has relaxed the curfew from 24 hours to it's now from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. movement. People will be moving to their normal businesses and places of work. And already the markets that have been reopened, people have started going to the market. In fact, at the time the announcement came out, I was at the market seeing how people are rushing out of the market. Now, some of the markets have already extended their time to also 4 p.m. Initially, they said the market will be reopened from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So now it's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to allow people to continue restocking food items. So those I've already met in the market have gone back. They have continued making their purchases. So people are generally happy as the curfew is further relaxed. And I can see how people are moving across Kano metropolis as normalcy continues to return across the state.
What about the security situation? They say it seems to be stable. There's no protest whatsoever or agitation from any part of the state.
Actually, as of this morning to coming to this afternoon, I haven't seen any group protesting within Kano metropolis. But I have seen presence of security men, police officers and military officers all around the city moving around, but then they don't have any problem with the people because no one is protesting. Actually, I can tell you people are rushing to the market instead of rushing on the streets to protest. They are rushing to the markets to buy food items, not on the streets protesting. It was only yesterday that some people came out to protest. But today they are not protesting. I haven't seen any actually, and security situation has improved. And police are moving across Kano metropolis as usual, patrolling areas where they have checkpoints. Those checkpoints are there, but the policemen are by the roadside waiting for the time of the curfew.
The Plateau State government has convened an emergency meeting in response to curfew violations by hoodlums in the Jos North local government area. In a related development, the State Police Command announced on Monday the arrest of 27 suspects linked to attempted looting activities around the state's commercial hub during the enforced curfew hours. The report.
The 4-day protest in the state has been largely peaceful. However, on Sunday, hundreds of miscreants were seen threatening business owners and forcing them to shut their establishments, prompting the state government to impose a curfew. Despite the curfew, some hoodlums resurfaced on Monday, allegedly attempting to break into shops and steal goods and properties. Their efforts were thwarted by the police and other security agencies. During the emergency meeting at the government house, the police commissioner warned that any individual caught defying the curfew will face strict consequences.
Resolution today, with the leadership of the executive governor of Plateau State, the curfew will be vigorously enforced. It will be enforced. So it's just an advice to people that may think that they may want to disrupt it or cause one problem or the other to stay away. Because as we are seeing us here now, we have agreed in totality that we are going to enforce it. We are going to enforce it fully.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang emphasized during the meeting that the decision to impose the curfew was made in the interest of the state.
And what we need to do in order to ensure that there is peace and calm on the platform. We appreciate what has happened thus far, but we need to consolidate it and make sure that nothing goes wrong. That's why we call this Security Council meeting.
As tensions smear across the nation, the meeting saw the attendance of various heads of security agencies. From Jos, Ado Musa reporting for Trust TV.
Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has charged security chiefs in the state to redouble efforts geared towards securing lives and properties, especially amid the ongoing national hunger protests. Speaking at a meeting with heads of security agencies and other stakeholders in the state, Governor Bala said the meeting was to discuss strategies that will ensure that the ongoing hunger protests do not degenerate into anarchy while they last. He acknowledged that Nigerian citizens have not enjoyed the best of governance, especially in the present dispensation, where some economic policies like the fuel subsidy removal have thrown many into abject poverty, noting that it was imperative for all stakeholders to work towards calming frayed nerves. While decrying the violence that erupted in some parts of the Bauchi metropolis as well as in Katagum local government area, Governor Bala assured that the state government, with the support of security agencies, have put modalities in place to forestall a recurrence. He said despite being an opposition state, he was committed to supporting the federal government in addressing the issues that led to the protests in the state, with the hope that the government at the national level will rise to the occasion and fix grey areas of the economy.
We have to swallow our melancholy because it's part of leadership. But certainly I called you to let you know that the people are annoyed with us. What do? We have done our best. The security agencies have done their best. And we have to come back to our natural habitat, the level of natural leadership, from the emirates to the district heads, to the village heads, to the ulamas who preach in the mosque, and to the clergymen who preach in the church, even to the youth and to the drivers and the owners of transport agencies. They are all here, NUTW, and also the other agencies. Even the student union are here, I believe. We did that because we had to connect and discuss. Yes, we acknowledge that there is bad governance.
2 people were shot in Suleja, Niger State on Monday when anti-riot police intervened in a protest near the Abuja-Kaduna highway. The incident occurred around 9 a.m. as youth attempted to stage a demonstration in the area. Eyewitnesses reported that police and soldiers were deployed to maintain traffic flow and disperse the protesters, using gunfire and tear gas to control the crowd. Among the victims was Ismaila Dahiru, a local scrap worker who was allegedly shot in the chest by a masked policeman, despite nearby soldiers cautioning the officer that Dahiru was not part of the protest, according to Ali Adamu, a relative of Dahiru. Another individual was also shot in the abdomen during the incident. Both victims were initially taken to Umaru Musa Yar Adua Hospital in Sabon Wuse and later referred to the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital in Gwagwalda for further treatment. Efforts to contact Muhammad Sani Musa, the police area commander in Suleja, for comments were unsuccessful as he did not respond to calls. As the nationwide hunger protest in Osun State enters its 6th day, the protesters in Osun State on Tuesday presented their demands to the state government. Upon the assurance by the state government to implement the demands, there are indications that the end bad government in Nigeria may continue to unend in the state. The state deputy governor, Kola Adewusi, who received the protesters at the Government House Secretariat in Osogbo, the state capital, assured the protesters that their demands would be met. He commended the protesters for conducting themselves peacefully in the last 6 days of the protest. West African bloc, ECOWAS, has urged end bad governance protesters in Nigeria to heed President Bola Tinubu's call for dialogue. In a statement on Monday, the Economic Community of West African States Commission said it deeply regrets reports of violence in the course of the protest and the unfortunate death of some protesters, as well as alleged looting and destruction of public and private properties. The Commission extended condolences to the bereaved families and sympathized with the government and people of Nigeria over the losses. The regional bloc recognized the right of citizens to peaceful protests as guaranteed by the 2001 ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance and enshrined in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. The Commission welcomes the State of the Nation address of 4th August 2024 by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and urged the protesters and all stakeholders to heed the President's call for inclusive dialogue for the resolution of all grievances and for the preservation of peace and security in Nigeria and the ECOWAS region at large. The ongoing hunger protest is taking a toll on businesses in the Federal Capital Territory. Business owners, out of fear for their safety and that of their staff, have been forced to close their shops and stay home. This has inevitably affected their daily income. Chamun Dabeng reports.
And bad governance, that's what Nigerian citizens are calling out for. The hunger protest, which is as a result of pent-up anger in Nigerians who blame the federal government policies for the high inflation rate, which continues to reach a new all-time high with each passing month, thereby making life very difficult for Nigerians out there as it continues to push the cost of living and continues to stretch their purchasing power. The protests, which were initially meant to be peaceful, turned violent in some areas, causing businesses to lock up their doors for their safety as well as that of their staff.
Actually, it affected my business. So if I have 10 customers for every day now, maybe I have about 3 or 4 customers. Actually, during the period of the protest, we are scared. We are scared because we had that when you bring out your goods, some hoodlums will come and carry your goods. So we are scared.
Unfortunately, in some areas of the country, businesses were looted, resulting in massive losses. However, the loss isn't just specific to the individual business owner alone, but there could be possible effects on the Nigerian economy.
That protest was very brutal. It wasn't easy protest. I was thinking that the protest would be as a normal protest, but they turned it to a different thing entirely. Burning tires on the main road and doing other things. They do not allow people to cross main road to come to their various businesses. Even some people along here could not even do their business intention of the protest. It wasn't easy for anybody here. It's just on Friday or Saturday we started coming out. Being on Saturday we started coming out, but still yet we are not. If business is not flowing because people are afraid to come out.
Analyst Godwin Adoga explains the impact of protests in the country.
I would say the protest was inevitable, given the way the economy has been handled. All of this is an offshoot of people's, I would say, negative sentiments. And as far as the economy goes, one of the major impacts, the protest will have, or is already having, is that it is scaring investors away. Nobody who has serious interests in any form of supply chain activity in Nigeria would actually want to put their money in at this point for any mid or long-term type of commitment, except there is a clear end in sight. And the reason is because we've seen what happened in Kano State, where trailer loads of goods being supplied were looted. And this is a country where we don't have a lot of insurance cover for some of these things.
Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
To more stories. Katsina residents, especially those living along the Marabar-Kankara-Katsina Highway, are appealing to President Bola Tinubu to order the immediate completion of the rehabilitation work, which was abandoned by the contractor. The road, which has been in a state of disrepair for years, is among the major causes of several cases of kidnappings for ransom, killings by bandits, and road crashes for over a decade. Abdullahi Yamadi, who visited the area recently, tells us more.
Dozens of passengers and motorists along this road have been attacked, with some killed and others wounded by bandits and armed robbers, while several others were abducted in the process. This is beside the loss of properties worth millions of naira as a result of accidents due to the dilapidated nature of the road. This federal road is significant to not only Katsina State, but the entire Northwest, as it passes through 7 local government areas, including those linking Katsina with Zamfara and other states in the region. These include Malumfashi, Kankara, Damusa, Duzuma, Kurifi, Batagarawa, and Katsina, up to Niger Republic. Similarly, tons of agricultural produce, including food and cash crops, are being transported to various parts of Nigeria through this highway. At first, residents, especially those around the highway and motorists, were jubilating when the rehabilitation work commenced before its sudden stoppage some weeks ago.
It's one of the roads that links the frontline local governments of insecurity in this state, most especially here in Kankara. It's one of the endemic areas of insecurity. So we are appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to please ensure that we are making our passionate appeal to please ensure that this road construction will be completed.
The work on the over 150 kilometers Kankara-Dutsinma-Katsina road was at its best before its sudden stoppage just after only 10 kilometers.
Along this road, from Maraba Kankara to Katsina, there have been so much banditry, killings and kidnapping. So we want the federal government to take a serious action on that.
All efforts to speak to the controller, Federal Ministry of Works in Katsina were not successful, as reports say he has not been on seat for over 10 days. Despite its economic importance, the highway is considered one of the most dilapidated in the entire Northwest region, hence the need for its completion in order to save lives and property. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Under political matters, Ogun State government has fixed Saturday, November 16, 2024 for local government elections. The chairman of Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, Babatunde Osibodu, disclosed this in a statement signed by him and made available to journalists in Abeokuta on Tuesday. Osibodu, according to the statement, said Thursday, August 8, 2024 is scheduled for the release of guidelines for the conduct of the elections and stakeholders meeting, while campaigns by the political parties begin on Friday, August 9. Recall that the special advisor on media and strategy to Governor Dakbo Abiodun of Ogun State, Kayode Akimade, had last month described as fake news a statement circulating on social media announcing that the next local government elections in the state will be held on October 26, 2024. The elected local government officials completed their tenure about a week ago. And now to developments away from Nigeria. Tropical storm Debbie, which drained Florida on Monday, has killed at least 4 people and threatening southeastern United States with heavy rainfall and catastrophic flooding. A 13-year-old boy died when a tree was blown onto a mobile home in Levy County. The sheriff's office there said, after Debbie made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast earlier Monday as a Category 1 hurricane. Authorities said a truck driver was killed after his 18-wheeler plunged into a canal in Hillsborough County, while a 38-year-old woman and 12-year-old boy died in a car crash in Dixie County. According to the National Hurricane Center, the storm moved into Georgia overnight and is expected to go offshore before approaching the South Carolina coast on Thursday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that some 250,000 residents in his state are already without power. And lastly, in sports, Nigeria's representatives in canoeing at the ongoing Olympics 2024, Ayomide Bello and Beauty Otuede, are through to the final B of women's canoe doubles 500-meter event. They both finished 5th in the first heat of the quarterfinals, getting to the line in a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, 86 seconds. While speaking to the International Canoe Federation, Ayomide said she was born in a boat. This, she said, informed her passion for the sport. And that brings us to the end of the news update on Trust Television at this hour. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching.